Bonjour and welcome back to Chairlift Chatss.
Oui, monsieur. Bonjour.
Madame.
Bonjour, madame.
Bonjour, madame.
Welcome back to Chairlift Chats. We're on to part 2 of our Olympic edition.
We are giving you coverage of exactly what's going on at the Olympic Games in Paris and Chopu, Tahiti.
The medal count, where Australia's sitting, our best events so far, and our favourite moments for the Olympic Games 2024 in Paris so far.
Now, Chairlift Chats, we love to get into those authentic moments and what's going on behind the scenes. So we've got some of those too from behind the scenes of the swimming and the surfing and a bit of skateboarding too.
It's been awesome. And I have spoken to an athlete, believe it or not, since their performance over in the Olympics. Unfortunately got knocked out early, but they performed very well. So that's Josh Chatss, known as the Judo Club of Castle Hill. And he unfortunately got knocked out by an Italian over there in Paris. But great effort, fought very well, and I think he did Australia very proud. So unlucky there, Josh. Better luck next time.
I think that's one thing about Aussies, though, is that we are so enthusiastic and so supportive of our athletes, regardless of what happens. And it's just
great to be there.
It's great to be there and just to promote these sporting events that you don't normally see, like judo, which Josh Chatss was in. What do they call it? The gentle way.
Judo is known as the gentle way, and yes, it's actually a very strange.
It doesn't look gentle.
It's not gentle, but it is compared to every other martial art out there. It's not violent in any way. It's all about throwing and things like that. And look, Josh has done very well. I think it's his second Olympic Games, and he's done very well to get there. So very hard to win on the biggest stage. So
go enjoy Paris now.
Well done. Go and enjoy a nice break because you deserve it. So what's been your favourite moment so far, Chels?
Look, I mentioned this in part 1 of the podcast. I am the biggest fan of Dean Boxall. Dean Boxall is a swimming coach for the Australian team. In particular, he has been known to be the coach of Australian swimmer Ariarne Titmus. And his reactions and enthusiasm is just incredible. I love his energy. He's this guy with long, blonde, shaggy hair and like this big, bright smile and just intensity. And he gets so enthusiastic and he's pacing up and down the pool the whole time. And usually like the swimmers can be quite subdued when they win, but not Dean Boxall. He's in it. He gets so ecstatically excited when they win.
I love the passion that he brings.
Passion, yeah.
And just for a bit of context, Ariarne Titmus, if you don't know who she is, she's an Olympic swimmer and has won gold in the previous Olympics and has a lot of expectation on her this time to win gold again in back-to-back events in the 400 metres freestyle. And she did. She came through and won gold. And this time absolutely smashed Katie Ledecky out of the water.
Yeah.
And I think she just smashed it so good. And no wonder Dean was excited because what a race. What a superhuman athlete.
It was absolutely incredible to watch.
I loved it. And it was just great. I tell you, that Dean always manages to scare someone in the crowd.
That's so true.
He scared that Japanese lady last time, I think the usher.
One of the volunteers.
Yeah, in Tokyo, and then it's the same thing. And someone was in the crowd, and he scared them again. But good on him. I love Dean's passion, and it's it's just great.
It's absolutely infectious.
So Ariarne Titmus, gold again in the 400. I think she's going for gold again in the 200 as well tonight. So that'll be interesting to watch again on Channel 9.
If you've been following along on Instagram and Facebook, you'll know we've been documenting each day the events and how the Aussies have been doing.
That's right. So every morning you should wake up and you'll see plenty on our story, on our Instagram story, and as well as some posts. So go to our Instagram page so you can catch up on all the latest Olympic news. So, Chels, we'll have to talk about the opening ceremony as well before we go too far into the results of the games. But what was your favourite part? I've watched a little bit of it, and I thought it was very different, a very outdoor setting. And what was your favourite part? It was very interesting.
I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing, but what I enjoyed the most about it was that it was all on boats, and I just thought that was so fun and so absolutely iconic as well, and really showed off the sights of Paris so beautifully. Because all the teams came in on these boats together. And I thought it was great because it meant that they weren't just walking around the stadium. It meant that they got to really soak in and enjoy that experience. They were all together. It was really cool. And also it wasn't just the country teams on the boats as well. They had a lot of entertainment going on.
It was a shame it was raining.
It was raining, but they powered on through. There was BMX in the middle of the Seine.
Yeah, and on the
and
water.
Skateboarding. And
Wow, that was cool. I did like that. That was impressive.
yeah, we had
Especially in the
performances
rain.
from Lady Gaga. The
Lady
Minions made an
Gaga.
appearance underwater.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that as well. So, let's the celebrities that are at the Olympics. So,
Oh, it's so good. Such a lineup.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
He is at the Olympics, and
He said he's I love what he said.
I
You know,
love
he's
him.
like,
He's good.
I'm doing my part. I'm going around. I'm talking to the people. I'm kissing the babies.
being politically correct.
So Snoop, we love you.
Love you,
You've
Snoop
been very
Dogg.
entertaining.
What a great ambassador to have at the Olympics. Snoop Dogg. Imagine sitting there in the crowd and just watching the games, and then look, next year there's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
He's been a great ambassador.
Yeah, love it.
Who else has been there? Well, Australian Baz Luhrmann, film director.
Baz. Good to see Baz there. Did you say Tom Cruise is there?
Tom Cruise is there. Yeah.
Tommy, he's there. He's at every event though, so
Well, he's always at like the Wimbledon, and he's often at the royal events too.
the big events.
Actually, you know who is there, Australian-wise? Cody Simpson. Do you know who Cody Simpson is?
Yeah, I do.
He's
yeah.
an Australian singer, and he actually, for the past, I think, at least 6 years, has been training professionally as a swimmer, which has been incredible because he's been.
He's going out with. Who's he going out with?
The girl who's got 6 gold medals. Emma McKeon. So Cody Simpson, he's going out with Emma McKeon. And but yeah, he has had an incredible journey in the pool. I've loved watching it. I believe his event was butterfly too, so definitely a hard feat. Look, he didn't qualify for the Olympics, but he's been super good about it in terms of just sportsmanship.
Well, you can't have everything. You can't be good at singing. You can't be extremely good looking and be an athlete at the same time.
Yeah, he's got a lot going for him, I got to say.
Come on.
But he has written a theme song for the Olympics.
Right.
So the song that Cody Simpson has written, it's about his experience training as a professional athlete. The song's called Fly. Fly. And the cover artwork is really beautiful. I think it's him like swimming, so you can like see all the muscles in his back and the water surrounding and everything. But yeah, it's just about his experience training, and it's really good. And I just love his whole attitude. And he's also there in Paris to support Emma McKeon, which is really lovely. And he's just an all-rounder Aussie who's a great guy.
That's going to be a talented family when they have kids. Emma McKeon and musical background, man, that's going to be talent plus. And Emma McKeon, that's an impressive feat that she's accomplished in the Olympics. I think now 6 Olympic gold medals for her.
Yeah.
Which is very impressive.
Overtaken Ian Thorpe.
We all thought, Thorpey, the human fish, got to 5, and more knowingly for his swims at the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. Thorpey, but yeah, overtaken. And now I think even overtaken by one of my favourite athletes at the Games and one of my favourite results as well, Jessica Fox.
Oh, yeah.
So, canoe or the slalom, the rapids.
What does that mean?
So,
because there's a few events in the canoeing.
Yeah,
so.
there's a few. So the slalom is where they're in like a big canoe and they're going down rapids basically. Okay. And you've got 2 sides to your paddle. So it's basically left, right, and then there's a heap of gates that you've got to go through. Green and then red. So I think red, you have to actually do a loop and do a bit of a circle around the gate. And green, you've got to go straight through it. If you miss a gate or you hit a gate, it's a penalty, so a deduction or a time penalty, and that can be the difference between literally gold, silver, bronze, or even down the bottom somewhere. How do you think you'd go in the canoe slalom?
I actually did when I was in high school. I believe it was year 11. We went to Penrith to the regatta centre there, and we did whitewater rafting.
So cool.
And it was really fun, but it was so hard. I mean, it's not canoeing, but just that feeling of going down the rapids. And seeing Jessica Fox do it was, I look at her and go, oh my gosh, that looks so hard. I mean, my abs were crying just watching her.
Oh, but she's an incredible athlete. Her mum and dad, believe it or not, actually go back, and they've been at the Olympics for the same event.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jess Fox is now done. I think she started in London and won silver in the event. Then she got 2 bronzes at Rio and at Tokyo for that event, and now she's finally got the gold to go with her collection in Paris, which is interesting because she is French.
Yeah.
Her mother is French and her father's English, and of course she's living in Australia. So we'll take the gold any way we can.
Yeah,
But
she's an incredible ambassador for our country, and it was so good because it's really come full circle for her because she got to be the flag bearer this year.
Yeah.
She's there with her sister as well, who's also competing in the canoeing. It's just so incredible to see these athletes being highlighted, and I think we have the celebrities there. We have these big brand collaborations going there. There's the Ariana Grande promoting Wicked movie, and there's so much going on with Nike and Skims and all of that, but when it comes down to it, it's the time to really focus on these athletes and learn every day about these athletes as well and what their daily life and routines look like and their passion as well.
Well, Jess Fox has got so much passion, and I've loved watching her journey through the Olympics. She's a 10-time world champion, and she's just a tremendous athlete. I think it was such a great moment today. I've watched the video over and over again where her dad, Richard, was in the commentary box.
Oh, wow.
And commentating on it, and he was going, go, Jess, go, go, go. And it was just so cool to watch. And then he basically took his headset off and ran down to see Jess, gave her a big hug,
Aww.
Congratulated her. And it was just such a moment because I'm like, how often do you see your daughter participate in 4 Olympic Games? And then she's already won gold, actually, in the single paddle. I don't know what that event's called exactly, but she did win gold in Tokyo. But it was just great to see her win gold now in Paris with her event. She has dominated this sport for such a long period of time, and it was just great to see. So much hype around her. The nerves would have been insane, and I can only imagine the conversations and the different sort of chats she's had with her mum, who's her coach, and her father. It would have just been so much pressure on her shoulders, but great to win gold and to go home with a gold medal. That's the goal, isn't it? So
the goal is the gold.
That's it. You have to try and get that gold after years and years of practice and effort, and you finally get the gold.
Yeah.
That is what it's about.
I know. Well, I want to talk about our quote of the week. So this week I've actually got an extract from a book. It's Naomi Simpson's book. You might know her from Shark Tank. She's the lady always in red.
Oh, yes.
And she's got a great book.
Red Balloon?
Red Balloon,
yes.
Yeah, that's her company.
Balloon.
She's got an extract in her book where she talks about Olympians. And, okay.
Read it out to us.
Okay. When you are driven by passion to be the world's best, then you know that there is a price to pay. No world champion or Olympian got to achieve what he or she did without consequence. The question to ask is, what are you prepared to sacrifice to live a life of passion? Think of the great love stories. There is always sacrifice. So when asked, can you have it all? The answer is simply don't be ridiculous. No one has it all. But what you can have is a life full of powerful choices that follow your dream. And when you live a life of passion and you share that joy with those around you, then you know you are living the life you love.
What a great quote.
Yeah.
That's very powerful.
There's a lot to that as well, and I think
a lot to unpack.
Yeah, because it's quite deep as well though, because it's looking at people who are very high achieving, in this instance athletes, and going, yes, you might be doing so well at this, but there are sacrifices to that. And I think it's a good question to go for is, how much are you willing to sacrifice to live your passion? And it might even help you discover what your passion actually is.
I think so. I mean, it takes a long time to work out. There's a lot of confusion in this world with, what you should be doing in life and what you need to be doing. But I think you can't find joy, in my opinion, doing something that you don't like. And, well, I mean, that seems obvious, but you can't have a sustainable career doing something that you don't like. It's just very, very hard to do. But if you find your passion and what you want to do, You go out there and you'll find a way to make money. Money will follow your career path that you find passion in my opinion.
Yeah, I find it comes down to balance and consistency.
And you should never give up on something that you can't stop thinking about every day. If you are thinking about something every single day that you know could be a career path, you should never give up on it because you're thinking about it every day, which means you've got the passion for it, which means why stop? Keep trying to go after it.
Yeah.
Even if you fail a few times, go after it.
That visualization too, we've talked about it quite a few times on the podcast, but sometimes it's, say what you want to do is something outside, or you want to be snowboarding all the time. We can't always be at the snow, but you can always be visualizing and like manifesting in your head what you want to project to happen and things like that. Another thing that going back to kind of the family legacy stories, it was so lovely to see Jessica Fox with her family in Paris.
Awesome.
Another beautiful family story, though, is the story of Hayley Lewis.
Oh, yes. So, and her son.
Yeah, her son. So her son's name is Kai Taylor, and he was part of the Australian Olympic team as a swimmer as well. So Hayley Lewis, if you aren't familiar with her, she was an Australian Olympic swimmer, former athlete. She's been a TV presenter. She's been doing a lot of the commentary and she's been fantastic, very knowledgeable of the sport. But seeing her son now doing what she did, she was so emotional and she was it was such a beautiful moment to see on the TV. Because he won silver because he was part of I believe it was at the 400 meter.
Yeah, 4 by 100 meters men's freestyle relay. And yeah, she was in absolute tears, just couldn't contain her emotions when asked about how good it was that her son's made the Olympic team.
Yeah,
so
it was just...
I can only imagine as well. It's unbelievable.
Because, yes, there's so many competitions throughout the year, but the Olympics is the one that the world watches. The Olympics,
everyone watches it.
We've got the celebrities behind it, with endorsements. We've got Harvey Norman. We've got so much going on.
Everyone is involved with the Olympics. Everyone wants to sponsor it, and it is the world's best training for years and years and years, and then come up against each other.
It's just an epic event.
And it's just something on the world stage that is just so monumental, and your eyes are glued to that screen or to the event.
Yeah. So massive congratulations to the men who are on that team.
Yeah.
Kai Taylor, so happy for you to continue this swimming legacy.
Keep going, and we want to see more gold.
More gold.
More gold. But I tell you what, I did have to laugh at this on TV. You're seeing some funny things as well. And Channel 9 have done brilliantly at showcasing this all over the socials. But there was a guy who dropped or lost the swim cap in the pool. I don't know if you saw.
And I haven't seen
They
this.
grabbed some random guy who stripped down to his Speedos. And I think everyone's just so used to seeing fit and active people jumping into the pool, and this guy gets in and he's got a gut hanging out, and it's like, oh, what a
just a normal guy.
Just a normal guy. And it was like, oh, what an athlete. Everyone was applauding him because he dives in off the board, dives in, grabs the cap, gets out, puts his hands in the air. He's like, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, he got his 5 minutes of fame. Good on him.
I love those moments.
Oh, it was so good. I tell you what, I found my new career as well.
Oh.
I want this job. I want to be a lifeguard at the Olympic Games. I could not believe it. Turn on the TV, and then there's this guy who I noticed in the background standing there with the little red flipper thing.
The floaties.
The floaty. And he's standing there with his boardies and his rashy ready to jump in to save someone. I'm like, bro.
If anyone's going to be saved, it's going to be you.
Are you for real? I said, we're talking about saving an athlete here, an Olympic swimmer who's been training for their whole life for this moment, and you're there ready to save them?
Yeah.
Hey, what a job. I want to be there because you imagine you just get to stand there and watch all the Olympians swim.
Excellent job.
Oh, I loved it. I'm like, what a dream job.
There you go. You found your dream
That's
life.
my new career path. I like that. I want that job. Well, that leads into our act of kindness. So act of kindness this week, I've sort of gone with something that sort of suits Olympians. There's been a few injuries and whatnot at the games, bit of blood, and it's made me think about what I have to do every 3 months, which is give blood. So I thought act of kindness for this week, call up your local blood bank and go donate some blood. It may not be nice or comfortable for you, but you are saving lives. So act of kindness, go to the blood bank and donate some blood because you never know whose life you might be saving. It might be mine.
That's great.
So
I mean, hopefully it's not yours, but it is a great thing to do. You know, at the Olympics, right? There's often mascots. Like, you know, when the athletes are on the podium. So say it's Hayley Lewis's son, it's Kai Taylor, they're up there and they get given their medal over their neck. And then often they'll get given like a little flower or a little soft toy of something cute. Well, this year, it's not just something cute. Their medals get presented on a tray of Louis Vuitton.
Louis
Vuitton. Which I just think is such a French move. Like this year, there's been so much of LVMH. LVMH is actually like the biggest business company in France, and they own like all the luxury brands. So they've literally taken over all the collaborations and endorsements for France in the Olympics.
Right, yeah.
And so that's why there's been like Louis Vuitton everything, including Michael Phelps in the opening ceremony. Phelps. So they had like the dancers carrying down like these massive, not suitcases, like trunks, Louis Vuitton supposedly carrying the Olympic medals. And then Michael Phelps was the guardian of it.
Oh.
So there you go.
There you go. Michael
Thanks
Phelps.
to Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. Interesting. I like it.
And I have one more moment that I found really cute during the Olympics. I, with my friends, am part of a knitting club.
Oh, the knitting club.
And I am so happy to see this on screen, but there is an athlete, a diver from Great Britain. His name is Tom Daly, and he goes and supports a lot of fellow Olympians at events, and he sits in the crowd and he knits. He knits, and it's just so cute.
It's a bit weird.
No, it's not. It's wholesome.
Oh, well, good on him. At least he's confident.
Yeah.
So
it's about expressing everything fun. We haven't talked about Chopu yet.
Oh, we haven't. We've got to talk about Chopes. How about the athletes over in Chopes?
So there's a group of islands in the French Polynesia. And then there's Tahiti, and then there's a particular area called Chopu.
And Chopes.
Much like if you've been to Fiji, you'll often see, like, what we're used to here in Australia is that the waves break on the shore. But in a lot of these sort of islandy countries, the waves break out on the reef where it's really shallow. And so often... like you guys did this.
Yeah, there's a
you
reef.
often like get a boat out to where the waves are, and then you're surfing the reef break rather than like a normal surf shore break.
Correct. So there's a reef. So we actually went to Cloud Break earlier this year
in Fiji.
In Fiji in April.
Very famous surf
Same
spot.
situation where there's a reef, and because of the reef, it gets very shallow. There can, literally be a foot of water below you when you're catching the wave.
Yeah.
And that's why there's been a few injuries, because it's been so unforgiving, the wave.
That's why Roxy, like Roxy Swimwear, they sent all their American athletes reef protection. It's essentially like a rashie, like a rash vest, but it's got... it's got like padding on it to be protection from the reef, and that's what they're designed for, for reef surfing.
We got a lot of cuts as well, and there's a
when you're on
product,
Cloud Break.
There's a product that you can put on your skin for all your cuts, and I think it's something chloride that's basically it stops the bleeding straight away
because it's very dangerous,
and it disinfects the cut
because it was a coral that cut.
It's coral. Yeah. But to put in context, anyways, for the Olympic Games, Chopu, the break of where they're at, and the waves are sitting at around, I think, 8 foot or more.
Wow.
And
that is massive. What can we put that in context of? What's your normal surf break at Bondi?
It doesn't get any bigger than 3 to 4. Sometimes they get bigger breaks like 6 to 8, but very rare. But
so it's like a mountain of water.
But Chopu's just got full volume and more weight behind the wave, and these athletes have to be pretty good at surfing to be able to surf these breaks. They're huge. They're absolutely huge, but awesome.
I've got a good question for you. Okay, if we talked about this last week, like if you could be an Olympian for any sport, what would it be? And you said archery or shooting.
Shooting, yeah.
My question for you today is, if you could be at this Olympics, the Paris Olympics, would you rather be in Paris or would you rather be in Chopu, Tahiti?
That's a tough question, because Tahiti, Chopu, and the waves that they've been getting over there have been insane. Yeah, 100%. I'd love to go surf Chopu. I'd be there. I'd take on that.
Do you know, I think I would choose Chopu as well. I love Paris. I'm such a fashion girly. I would love to do that, but you know what? I'll do that for some movie, or I will get to Paris. But when else are you going to get to Tahiti? Also, it just looks absolutely stunning, like with the jungle in the background.
Oh, it's
and
crazy.
Also, do you know what it gives me? It gives me Surf's Up vibes.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
You know the Penguin movie with Chick and Joe and Cody.
The Penguin movie.
It gives me that vibe, and I love that movie, and I love that movie's vibe and essence. And it's just their opening ceremony was a lot more traditional. It was very Islander style, and there was leaves and
it was cool.
Like quite almost reminded me a lot of Fiji.
Loved it. I saw a little bit of it, and it looked so cool.
And all the athletes were together, you know, the Americans, the Canadians, and the French, and the Australian, all kind of huddling together. The atmosphere just looks so friendly. It's like, this is
I'd love to
so
be
fun.
there. On that boat as well. You're actually on a boat. It would be so cool.
Yeah, because a lot of the Olympians are staying, on they're calling it the first floating Olympic village. But then a lot of them are staying with locals as well in Tahiti.
Oh, okay.
So they're like the Australian team and the American team are in individual houses. So they're staying with local Tahitians.
Oh, awesome.
Which is really cool. They've been like taking it because the surfing environment, and they go around and do comps all around the world. And you get to know people, and they kind of have their own little family, so they get to then stay. So it's a very different Olympics.
Well, I'm very keen to see the results of the surfing. So there's plenty of athletics still to come, plenty of swimming still to come, and all the other individual sports. So we will keep you updated
daily,
on a daily basis, and post stuff on videos on our Instagram and Facebook.
Chairlift Chatss with 2 S's at the end.
That's the one. And catch us for the next episode. Again, we'll be doing another episode on the Olympics, because who doesn't like talking about the Olympics?
There's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about. It's a 2-week, thriller. So we'll have to do another episode, and hopefully next time you see us as well, we'll be doing it from the snow. Au revoir. See you next time on Chairlift Chatss.